If I was a PMU artist and I had to start over and go from 0 to 10K per month in 90 days or less, this is exactly what I would do. Hi, my name is Danny Tran, founder of HighstokeMedia and PMU World, and over the years, we have worked with over 1,600 beauty pros and artists worldwide, helping them scale to 6 and even 7 figures. So I'm really excited to share all of the steps that we've learned and really reveal this proven formula that we have used for hundreds of clients all over the world and really help you get out of this current rat race that you're in, okay? So let's go ahead and paint a story. Let's say me, Danny, I decided to go get certified in powder brows, and a couple of weeks ago, I decided to take a training from one of my world's favorite trainers, and now I am officially certified. I've had some practice, now I'm ready to grow the business. What do I do from this point on? So the biggest question that you want to ask is, well, if I am starting at ground zero, what is the quickest pathway for me to go to $10,000 per month consistently, and making sure that I am building my business the right way when it comes to the foundations and strategies and systems so that I can continue to make 10K per month ongoing instead of it just being a fluke and doing it 1 month and then the next month it completely drops. And so these are the exact steps that I would take to hit that number in record time. The very first thing, and where people tend to always forget, is business foundations, okay? You can't build a building without the proper foundation. So you cannot build your business unless you have the proper foundations. The biggest mistake that people make, especially in the beginning, is trying to make all of this money. And I get it, right? You invested all of this time and energy and money into your trainings. You probably bought a lot of supplies. You might have overhead already. You might have some rent that you're already paying for. And so naturally, the very first thing that comes to your mind is, how do I make as much money as possible? But that is going to lead you to make a lot of decisions based on emotions versus what you actually need to do. So in the beginning, what I always tell every single client that works with us, especially if they are in their beginning stages, your number one priority in the beginning, it isn't to make as much money as possible. Yeah, I said that. It is not to make as much money as possible. It is to build the foundational pieces needed so that your business can properly scale later on, okay? So when I'm talking about business foundations that's needed to set your business up for success, what do I mean? There are a lot of things, right? So the very first thing is that you need a very quick website. Now, another very big mistake in the beginning is spending way too much money and way too much time and trying to figure out this perfect branding and the best logo and the name. I can tell you right now that all of that does not matter. The only thing that you need to do is just have something that's functional, that shows who you are, where you're at, what you specifically do, and some reviews and social proof, and that's it. So my advice here is, don't spend thousands of dollars, don't waste tens of hours figuring all of this out. Go to Fiverr.com, hire a freelancer who can put this together for you in less than a couple of days for just a few $100s, and you don't even have to think about it, okay? So that's the very first thing. Next is going to be your IG, it's social media, okay? And you want to basically optimize your Instagram account. So when it comes to your Instagram account, you want to make sure that you have a good bio that clearly explains what you do, who you serve. You also want to optimize your highlights, right? So your highlights are a really good way to showcase your different services, your policies, your before and afters, your client results, where you're at, some FAQs. And so you want to make sure that you have a very optimized profile, because when people are coming to your Instagram specifically, they're going to need a reason to stay. And if it's not optimized with a great bio and it's not clear in terms of like who you are and what you do and who you serve, they're most likely going to drop off, okay? The next thing is you need a basic booking system, all right? Crazy. A lot of people still do not have a booking system after a couple of months of running the business, and they're doing things on spreadsheets. There's so many different platforms out there. You can use Square, you can use Vagaro, you can use Acuity, and it's very simple to set up. And all you need to do, again, is have a very basic booking system so that you can actually have it on your website, have it in your bio, so that people can actually book with you, all right? Okay. Then you need a Google My Business. This is also crucial. Especially in today's day and age, people are going to be really, really skeptical. And so if they don't know that you exist and that you are an established business, the chances of them wanting to book with you, it's very, very slim. So make sure that you have a Google My Business. And obviously, this is going to allow people to give you 5-star reviews and share their experiences with others. Because again, in today's day and age, people are going to do a lot of research prior to wanting to book with you. And they need to have all of that trust built. All right. Okay. And then next is turning on Facebook and Yelp reviews. Okay, anywhere else that you can also accept reviews. Again, just along the lines of social proof, you're going to need a mechanism for you to collect reviews, because before anybody ever books with you, especially in today's day and age, they're going to do their research. And so for the more reviews that you're able to show, whether it's on Facebook or Google My Business or Yelp, the more trust that you're going to be able to build and really push somebody who's over the edge and thinking about booking with you. And then start posting content about the business, about biz, okay? So a lot of people tend to forget this one. So especially if you are just starting out, I would post content about the business. And I know you're probably in a situation of like, well, Danny, I don't have any people that I've worked on yet. How can I post any of that? That's going to be the next step. But in the meantime, there's so many different things that you can do. You can showcase that you just got certified. You can showcase that you're having a grand opening, that you just opened this location. You can showcase stuff about you. So doing like a little selfie, doing some videos explaining about who you are, your story, your mission, and all of these things in between, and just getting people to know you, and you're introducing yourself to your community. And so I would 100% start posting content about the business so that it starts building up your social media accounts and page, so that there are some foundational pieces here, so that when people are coming, it doesn't look like a ghost town and that you just started, okay? So you just want to start posting stuff about your business, who you are, your services, who you serve, etc. All right. And so that's really it for business foundations. You can probably get all of this knocked out in less than 24 hours if you think about it. Finding somebody to build out the website for you on Fiverr, optimizing your Instagram and social media, creating a booking system, activating your Google My Business, your Facebook, your Yelp reviews, and then on an ongoing basis, just start posting content about your business. All right. Okay. So now we get to step 2. The most important part, do a model call, okay? So if you guys are watching this and you've been in the business for quite some time, you know what a model call is. But for those who don't know what it is essentially you doing a call out looking for models so that you can build your portfolio pieces. Typically, this is done as free or a very discounted price. And the intention, again, isn't to make a lot of money, but it is to get people to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested. You being able to get them to come in, not just practice, but build your portfolio by taking a bunch of photos and videos and a lot of content. I want to show you how you can position this, because most people do this very, very wrong. A lot of people, number one, they just simply post on their Instagram account saying like, hey, I'm doing a model call. Like, what does that actually mean? And so what we have found to work best is how you're actually positioning it and how you're getting the word out about it. So first, we're going to go over the positioning, okay? One of the easiest and best ways that you can position this is something along the lines of, hey, San Francisco ladies, we have some super exciting news. We're doing a grand opening special, and we're looking for 10 select models who are looking for beautiful powder ombre brows. We typically charge $500 for our services, but for the first 10 people who qualify, we're only charging $100 for our cost of product in exchange for portfolio pieces. To apply, DM us a few pictures of your bare brows. Like, that's really it. Most people get this wrong because, again, they don't position it the right way, and they just say something like, hey, I'm doing a model call, or they basically try to charge way too much for the model call. And that essentially is going to not work, because especially in the beginning stages of your business, you simply cannot just go straight to full pricing, charging $500, $600, $700 when nobody knows who you are, that you even exist, that you have any social proof, there's no reviews. And so the beginning stages, again, you do need to do a model call to build those portfolio pieces. And I just want to highlight that what portfolio pieces equals trust, right? So the number one goal, again, at the beginning, is for you to build trust with people in your city, in your community, so that when people are seeing your page, like, okay, like this person is good at what they do. They worked on diverse skin types, and I see myself in that person. So yeah, like maybe I am interested in getting my brows done by them. Okay, so that's going to be the positioning. Okay, and the next, friends and family. So especially in the beginning stages, it's going to be a lot of grinding out. It's going to be a lot of hustle. And the very best thing that you can do is reach out to your friends and family and people specifically in your network, because the people in your network are simply going to be people who trust you the most right now. Trying to convince somebody to pay you $1, $2, $3, $400 to get their brows done when they don't know who you are and it looks like you are a brand new business is one of the most difficult things to do. And that's why most people never get past that little hump. And so in the beginning, one of the most powerful things that you can do is reach out to your friends and family. And your friends and family, again, are going to be your best test subjects. They're going to be the people who are going to be the most understanding. They're going to be the most trusting. And if they have already gotten their brows done, for example, chances are there's going to be somebody in their network that needs to get their brows done. And so as your friends and family, don't feel like you are, being intrusive or that, they're going to think of you differently. If they're really good friends and family, they're going to support your business in every way possible. So friends and family, and then asking for people in their network, okay? The very next thing I would leverage are Facebook groups. So Facebook groups, and this is a very, very underutilized vehicle or resource, okay? And so when you go to Facebook, there's going to be a bunch of groups that you can join for free, and I highly recommend groups that are community groups, or maybe the moms of groups, or business networking groups, or even the buy and sell trade groups are really good. And I can guarantee you, regardless of whatever city that you're living in right now, and even if you think that is a very small population size of only 5 to 10,000 people, I can guarantee you that there are multiple, if dozens, if not hundreds of Facebook groups specifically for your city. Okay, so go to Facebook and go into these Facebook groups, and each one, yes, it's going to have their own rules and regulations, like you can't sell and promote, but a lot of them will, number one, allow, or number two, they have maybe like a weekly promote your own self type of thing. And it's all a matter of it's all about positioning as well. And so where most people get it wrong is that they are too salesy, and they literally go into these Facebook groups and say like, hey, I offer permanent brows for $400. If you're interested, shoot me a quick message. And it's just very salesy, right? Obviously, if you're an admin of that group, you're not going to allow that because it seems super salesy. So the best way to leverage these groups is to come from a position of value that you're trying to give and not expect anything in return. The problem for a lot of people is that they come into these groups and they immediately try to sell. Like, hey, I just opened my space and I'm offering permanent brows for $400. Let me know if you're interested. Obviously, that's not providing any sort of value and you're just trying to sell. It's very obvious, right? But you come from a position of, hey, I'm looking for 10 lucky ladies to help out, and I just want to give back to this amazing community. So I'm looking for 10 ladies who have virgin brows who want to get beautiful powder brows done in the next couple of days. Let me know if you're interested. I really want to help out. And so if you position something along the lines of that, it's a completely different angle, and you're coming in from, I just want to help versus sell. And so Facebook groups is highly underutilized. And then I just want to note that this is a volume game, okay? What I mean by that is you can't just join 2 groups, make 2 posts, not get any reactions or engagement or replies and think Facebook groups don't work. When I say it's a volume game, you need to join a lot. I'm talking about 50 to 100, okay? If you are a client of ours and you say, hey, Danny, I've joined 10 groups and I got no responses, they don't work, we're gonna straight up yell at you, right? Like it is a volume game. So you need to join, I would say 100 groups. If you live in a big populated city like Los Angeles or Miami or New York or Houston or Austin, there's going to be thousands of different groups specifically in your area. And so join all of them. In the beginning, you do need to put in that work to get that initial traction and to get over that initial hump. And the best way to do that is to give away work where you're doing it for either free or highly discounted with the intention to build your portfolio pieces, okay? So Facebook groups, again, it is a volume game. You need to join like 50 to 100 at a bare minimum. And if you are in, let's just say a city that, actually scratch that, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you pull up Google Maps, you'll be able to see neighboring cities that are 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away, even 45 minutes away. But the biggest question is, wouldn't somebody be willing to drive hours or even fly over to you if you can provide them with a service that could potentially change their lives? 100%, right? So if, for example, if you are in a city, don't look at just that city. Once you've knocked out all of the groups in that city, find neighboring cities and then do another search of all of the other groups that exist in those neighboring cities. And each city in itself could give you hundreds of different groups, okay? And so when I say 50 to 100, that's a bare minimum. I'm talking about thousands, if anything, okay? And so that's going to be for Facebook groups. And then next, it's going to be Facebook and Instagram ads. This is going to be your highest leverage activity. Another problem when people are doing model calls is that all that they're doing is posting it on their Instagram account. Think about this. If you have a new Instagram account and you only have 40 followers and half of them are your friends and family, when you post stuff on your account, who's going to see those posts? It's limited to only your 40 followers, even if they see it, right? So much less than that. And so it's not that your posts aren't working, it's that it's not reaching the right amount of people. And now I'm gonna have another section specifically for ads in a couple of points here, but when doing a model call, one of the most powerful things that you can do is to run Facebook and Instagram ads. The beauty of ads is that it will show your content and your services and your business to people who didn't even know that you existed yet. So let's just say if I was opening my shop in San Jose, California, I would run ads that literally say something like, hey, San Jose ladies, we're doing a grand opening special. We're looking for 10 models who are looking to get their brows done. We typically charge $500 for our services, but for the first 10 people, we're only charging $100 to cover the cost of product in exchange for portfolio pieces. To apply, DM us a few pictures of your brows. Running Facebook and Instagram ads is going to be the most powerful thing that you can do to basically put, I'm gonna try to put like a fire here, put more fuel to the fire. Like, this is what you need to do in the beginning, okay? And then running Facebook and Instagram ads is going to be your most powerful vehicle to spread the word. We've had some people do model calls and they run ads to it, and they were able to get hundreds of applicants in less than a month. Because at the end of the day, people like free, people like discounted things, and people like getting stuff done. And so in the beginning, again, your objective isn't to make as much money as possible. It's to attract as many people as possible to your door so that you have as many opportunities as possible to get models, and that in turn becomes content, portfolio pieces, social proof, etc. And to drive this point home, because people are always going to ask, well, like, what's your budget? At the end of the day, anything between $10 to $20 a day is going to be good. It's 2025 heading into 2026 here, and you have to pay to play. Long gone are the days where you can just post something on your social media and it goes viral and you have people lined up wanting to sign up with you, okay? So running ads for $10 to $20 a day, that is a guaranteed way to get your posts in front of tons of people and everybody in your community, and you're going to be able to get so many applicants. And I guarantee you that if you follow this next process here, you're going to be able to turn all of those interests into real appointments, and from there you're going to be able to obviously turn them into paying clients, and you can get all of the portfolio pieces, which is what we want at the end of the day. All right, so next, you got to figure out your sales process, okay? So this is where the money happens. So when you are doing a model call or when you're running ads in general, you're going to get tons of people who reach out and they're going to inquire. But that does not necessarily mean that they are a paying client or they're ready to book yet. Most people need some nurturing and some back and forth. You need to address their concerns, their objections. Sometimes they just have a lot of inquiries or questions before they're actually ready to book with you. And so you need to have a really good sales process to turn somebody who is just a lead or somebody who is just inquiring or somebody who just has this initial interest into a real paid booking or an actual deposit, or making them become an actual paying client with you. Okay, so you need to have a really good sales process. And some of my favorite top tips here is manually book your appointment. But Danny, didn't you just tell me to create a booking system in the beginning? Yes, you're going to have the small select few who are just going to book automatically, and just having a website and a booking system there, it makes you a much more credible and established business. But especially in the beginning, one of the biggest things that you can do is manually book your appointments. What do I mean by that? So if somebody were to inquire, it's like, hey, I'm interested, can I go ahead and book an appointment with you? The worst thing that you can do is say, hey, sure, go to my website at www.dannysbrows.com and just choose a time and book. Okay, nobody is going to book on their own, and the chances of them dropping off or saying like, hey, maybe I don't want this, or maybe and there's too many steps, or they just forget about it and then there's a drop-offs, the chances of that happening is extremely, extremely, extremely high. And so you want to manually book your appointment. So essentially what that means is whenever somebody is ready to book, you simply just reach back out and say like, okay, great. Well, we have this upcoming Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. available. What option works best for you? Okay, so you want to give them just 2 or 3 options. You never want to give them a full calendar because a confused buyer never buys. And sometimes people do get what we call analysis paralysis when there's way too many options, right? I think about like my dentist all the time. Every time I'm trying to book something, they always give me 2 options. Like, hey, like we don't have this Wednesday or this Thursday available. If you can't book those, we can't do anything for the next 4 months. I'm like, okay, I only got 2 choices versus like, what time do you want to come in? And it's like, okay, I got to think about it. I got to pull up my calendar. I got to like see all these times. I'm not really sure if I have something that day. And so you want to minimize the options, okay? And then all you want to do is manually book the appointment. So you get their phone number, you get their name, you get their email, and you collect their deposit, and you will simply go in and book that appointment yourself in your booking system, okay? So you want to do that versus sending them directly to your website and making them do it on their own. So you always want to manually book your appointment. And then I also want to say, make your booking process frictionless, which basically means easy, okay? I've seen some crazy booking sites where I've had to go through 10, 11, 12 different steps before I'm even able to book that appointment with them. Like I had to choose a time, and then I had to upload a form, and then I had to do check, and then I had to fill in all of this information. And the more steps that you add to your booking process, the more chances of somebody dropping off. Just think of the last purchase that you made online, whether it's for clothes or some, just like a random object, right? Or maybe even Amazon. A lot of the booking process, it's like click one button and it just charges your card and you made the purchase right away. It's not asking for all of these information. And so in your booking process, you want to make it frictionless, especially at the beginning. You want to make it as easy as possible for somebody to be able to book with you and pay you money. The more steps that you make somebody go through, the higher the chance of them dropping off, okay? So you wanna make sure that your booking process has as little steps as possible. You can always ask like the qualifiers and all of these other things that you need to know later on, okay? So, but you wanna make the booking as easy as possible, okay? So that's that. Follow up, follow up, follow up. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of artists make is not following up and having this fear of sounding salesy or having this mentality of, oh, if somebody is interested enough, they're gonna book with me anyway, or they should be booking with me. Like, I don't want to be aggressive. Like, I don't want to chase clients. Like, they should be coming to me. And I can guarantee you that that mindset is going to have you lose to the next artist who's 10 times hungrier than you that's putting in the work. And so I would follow up as much as possible. On the note of follow-ups, what I would do on the last one, if you notice that they aren't responsive and you have followed up 3, 4, or 5 times already, is do something we call a takeaway close. And this is basically the premise that you're taking away something that they want, and if they truly want it, they're going to actually come back and chase you for it. So specifically for the context of the model call, I would say something along the lines of like, hey, Janine, just to let you know, out of common courtesy, is that we are down to our last spot for the model call. Are you still looking to come in to get your powder brows done? If not, we're going to give it to the next person in line, as we do have a very long wait list. Let me know when you have a quick 5 seconds today. Thanks in advance. Okay. And so now it's not along the lines of you being pushy or you sounding desperate. It's, hey, I have a really long list, and just out of courtesy, I wanted to let you know first because you did reach out ahead of time. We do have a very long wait list. So if you're not interested, just let me know. I really want to give it to this next person in line because, again, we do have a long wait list. Okay. So it's all about the positioning, and that's how you can make follow-ups be really aggressive. And again, just to drive this point home, if you are not following up at least 3, 4, 5 times for every single lead or inquiry that comes in, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And if you have this mentality that people should book with you automatically, if they're interested enough, I guarantee you that you will lose, specifically this year in 2025, when somebody else is 10 times hungrier. They're doing all of the follow-ups. They have a solid sales process, and they're essentially stealing your clients away from you. And then last but not least on the sales process is have a consultation approach, okay? Especially in the beginning, you can't be lazy, and you don't have the luxury to, again, say, if somebody is interested enough, they'll just book with me automatically. In the beginning stages, you need to do everything humanly possible to showcase that you're going above and beyond. And adding 10 times more customer experience and positives compared to your competition down the street. So what do I mean by a consultation approach? I would 100%, if somebody is going back and forth with you and you notice that they're kind of on the fence or they still have a lot of concerns, invite them to have an in-person consultation with you in your studio. And this is going to allow you to build trust. They know what you look and sound like. They're going to vibe with you. And most importantly, you can handle their objections, their concerns, all of their questions right on the spot. And the chances of you converting that consultation into a real booking on the spot is 100 times higher, 1,000 times higher, right? So whenever you can, I would highly recommend doing the consultation approach. And that, again, is going to allow you to close so many people. We have clients who have close rates of 75% and above, which basically means for every 4 people that come into their studio for a consultation, 3 of them will actually turn into paying clients. And that conversion rate is so much higher compared to if you were just going back and forth through text. So have a consultation approach and add that to your sales process. I guarantee you your conversion rates will skyrocket. If you're liking this so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We have new videos weekly where we're going to show all of these different strategies and proven tactics to help you grow and scale your beauty business in 2025, heading into 2026. This is, without saying, but your social proof and your branding and your social media and your portfolio is your #1 asset when it comes to growing your business in this space. It is very resume driven, which basically means people want to see all of your work. They want to see your diversity. They want to see your portfolio. They want to see all of the different types of people and ethnicities and skin types and styles that you worked on, right? They're going to want to see all of the 5-star reviews that you've had from other people in the city so that they can build trust with you. And so if you're not making it a conscious effort to build your branding and social proof on a regular basis, again, you're not only leaving a lot of money on the table, but you're not building the foundations that's needed for you to scale consecutively and consistently, okay? So a couple of things here. Make it a requirement for every model, okay? Now, what does this mean? As part of the deal or the requirement for every model coming in to get their brows done at an either free or a highly discounted price, the requirement is that you need to be able to take photos and videos of them. And so this is a very simple agreement. And it's something that you're already saying whenever it comes to the ad, whenever it comes to the captions that you're posting, that you're simply saying, like, in exchange for portfolio pieces, we're only charging X amount to cover the cost of product, right? And so you want to make this, again, a requirement for every single model that comes in. And this could be in the form that they're signing in the beginning. This could be a quick conversation as they book the appointment. Right, along the lines of just make sure to allocate an additional 20 minutes towards the end so that we can take a lot of your before and after photos, okay? And you want to make this a requirement. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from artists who say, oh my God, I forgot to take these videos, or oh my God, I forgot to take this photo. Oh my God, I forgot to take the before and after, right? You need to make it a conscious effort to do this for every single person that steps through your doors. So you want to make this a requirement. So for every model that comes in, you want to take a bunch of photos, videos, and actually, let me make this. One person, that could equal 50 pieces of content. I'm not even exaggerating, okay? Pieces of content, okay? So let me move this up here, okay? Think about it. For every person that comes in, you can take a lot of befores, you can take a lot of afters, and that's just images. You can take a bunch of videos, okay? You can do some client reactions, how they felt like before, why they decided to get their brows done, and how they felt after, and how this is essentially changing their life, and how they feel about the work, okay? You can do like client reactions. You can do a lot of reels, and you can do different angles, right? And so another big mistake that we see a lot of artists make is that you're only taking one piece of content for each person that comes in. And the best thing that you can do is, again, take as much content as possible, photos, videos, reels, stills, images, different angles, reactions, the behind the scenes, the after reactions, the before story, right? And there's so many different things that you can do, and you can repurpose this. And so just by getting one person coming in, you can have dozens of pieces of content. And obviously you're not posting it back to back to back to back. You want to space it out. But as you work on 20, 30, 40, 50 people, you're going to have variety, right? And it's going to allow you to build a much quicker portfolio and social proof and presence by taking all of these different types of content when it comes to every client that steps through your doors. Next, reviews plus social proof. Okay, very similar. So Facebook and Yelp. Okay, so along the lines of building a portfolio, you need to also make a requirement for them to give you a review. And if they've loved their work and they vibes with you and they absolutely loved what you've been able to do for them in terms of the procedure, why wouldn't they want to share that experience, right? But if you make it a requirement, it's just a very streamlined process of like, okay, if you're getting this model work done at a highly discounted price, you just need to allow us to take some portfolio pieces and give us a review to highlight your experience if you absolutely loved your work. So at the end of the day, with reviews and social proof, you just want to make it a conscious effort to ask every single person that steps through your doors for a positive review. And we're going to have videos in the future where we're going to talk about what's the best way to ask for it, what's the best way to position it. But for the sake of this video and time, again, for every model that comes in, you just want to simply make a requirement that you're going to take portfolio pieces from them. And if they absolutely love their work, they're going to share they're going to share their experience with you through a review. The next step is to slowly increase your prices. Once you have about 40 to 50, I'm gonna write this down, 40 to 50 models under your belt, this is a very good time to start increasing your prices. Now, people always ask, well, how many models do I need to do at this discount or even free work before I start increasing my prices? I would believe that the golden number is right around 50. Reason being is that for every person that comes in, you're gonna get, again, 10, 20, 30 pieces of content from each individual person. And each person that's coming in is also going to give you a 5-star review. And so if you go back to what I referred to in the beginning, if you're focused on building your foundations, right? You're getting so many reviews, you're on different channels, you're getting all of this content, you're getting all of these client reactions, okay? You're getting all of these the results and before and afters, and you're building your portfolios. So as long as you're continuing that, you're doing all of that, around that 50 model mark is going to be where you have really solid foundations in place, okay? And so after you do 40, 50 models, you can start slowly increasing your prices every couple of months. And so I would say, again, it's going to be different. And so take this with a grain of salt as well. Let's just say you were charging $100 for your model call. What you would do to transition to your normal pricing was to slowly increment from that, right? And so I would start at like 250, and then I would eventually go to 350, and then 400, and then 450. And then 500. And now the biggest question is, what is going to determine when I should increase this, or why shouldn't I just go to $500 right off the bat? Okay, great question. One of the worst things that you can do is trying to force pricing, meaning trying to force a specific amount that people should pay when they're not willing to pay that amount. We've seen this time and time again where somebody says, I know what I'm worth, and because somebody's charging $900 in a different city, I think I should charge $900 too. And then when they do all the marketing, nobody wants to book with them. And so this serves as a very safe way to slowly, incrementally increasing your prices, and you're still testing that pricing. And the strategy here is that you're not increasing your pricing until you're at least booked out for a couple of weeks or even months at a time. And so let's say, for example, you start charging $250, right? And people are loving it. You're getting booked out. Like there's just no pricing objections. And you're getting, again, your books are getting full for weeks or even months at a time. That's a really good indicator that you should then start to increase your prices to, let's say, $350. And then when it gets to that, obviously you're going to get less customers for a while. Maybe sometimes people will still see that value. And then once you get booked out for that new pricing, then you want to slowly increase that again. But you don't want to do that too fast, because you never want to get in a position of, oh, I made my price 600, nobody wants to buy, let me go back to 300, right? And for those who are following you, they're gonna be like, well, why did she do that? She's probably not booking anybody. And so you want to start slowly, incrementally increasing your prices. And this is the best way to do it. And again, the best way to really see whether or not you should increase your prices or not is just to simply look at how booked out you are. If you are not booked out at all and you just try this pricing increase, that means your pricing is probably too high, and you should continue to refine your work, build more social proof, build more portfolio pieces, build more diversity, get better quality procedures. And then from there, when people are starting to see your value, they're starting to book with you more, then you can start slowly incrementally increasing that. We're gonna drive the point home with these last 2 points here of exactly how we went from 0 to 10K, okay? So after you're slowly increasing your prices, and throughout this entire process too, what you need to be doing is running ads. So I'm gonna put another red star here. So again, running ads is going to be the most profitable things that you can do. And a very rhetorical question is, would you spend $1,000 to make $10,000 if you knew that was guaranteed? All day long, right? Now, my question back to that is, if you knew that was a possible thing with running ads and marketing, why are you so afraid to invest into your own business and marketing, knowing that you could be profitable by paying to play? Heading into 2026 here, I wholeheartedly believe that it is almost impossible for you to stand out, get clients, and growing your business consistently if you are not investing back into your business, especially when it comes to ads and marketing. So with ads, like I was saying, would you spend $1,000 to make $10,000? Obviously the answer is yes, right? I'm just gonna circle that. And so let's run a really easy scenario. Let's just say you charge $400 for the service and you also charge $100 for the touch-up. That means you're making $500 per person. And if you want to gross $10,000 per month, how many clients would that be? If you divide that by $500, that means you only need 2 clients per month. That means you only need 20 clients per month. That is less than 1 client per day. Yes, granted, if you are charging $350, $400, this number is going to be a little bit higher, give or take. But the biggest question is like, can you not get less than 1 client per day if you were to put in the work, right? So this is a very easy and attainable number. And if you want to reverse engineer all of this, it makes it even more attainable. So let's just say you spend $1,000 on ads, okay? And let's just say your cost per lead is, let me pull up a calculator here. Let's just say your cost per lead is $7, okay? So if you want to do 1,000 divided by 7, okay, that's going to give you 142 leads, okay? So let's just say your conversion rate is 15%. Conversion rate basically means out of how many leads you got, how many of them were you able to convert into a booking or a paying client, right? So if we do, okay, let's just do 142. I'm just do simple math here. Divided by 7, okay? That means you're going to get 20 new clients, all right? So that is basically the math here. If you spend $1,000 on ads, assuming your cost per lead is $7, that gets you 142 leads. And let's just say your conversion rate is 15%, which basically means for every 7 leads that you get, you're closing 1 of them. And if you're charging $500 per person, 500 times 20 equals 10,000. So, I mean, that is like the most basic and simple formula if you were to essentially run ads. And so obviously every business is going to be different. Your conversion rates, your cost per lead, it's going to vary depending on where you are and where you are in your business and the type of content that you're pushing out. But I just wanted to show that if you were to spend $1,000 hypothetically and you're charging $500 per client and you have a really good cost per lead and you're closing 1 out of every 7 person, that basically means, again, you spent $1,000 to gross 10K at the end of the day. Like, that's it, okay? But in order to get to the point where you are charging $400, $450, $500, you have to go through this entire process of the foundations, the model calls, developing your sales process, building your branding and social proof, slowly, incrementally increasing your pricing, and then ultimately running ads, okay? And so to drive this whole point home, you need to build your business systems plus know your numbers. So the first system that you really need is a marketing system. You really do need a system that is bringing in new leads, new opportunities to your business on a daily basis. The reason why most people have slow months and there's these roller coaster moments is because they simply don't have a system that's bringing in new leads on a consistent basis. They're not spending money on a consistent basis so that they have more opportunities to know about them. And if you're simply relying on referrals and word of mouth and just organic, and yes, granted, my disclaimer is that there's going to be the top 1% of artists who have absolutely crushed it on organic and word of mouth, and these are some of the biggest influencers in the space. That's the 1%. But for the 99% of you, that's not going to be the case, okay? So you need to develop a marketing system, which is specifically ads, that's bringing you a consistent amount of new leads every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter, every single year. every client that works with us, like your ads, like it is a non-negotiable. They will be on 24/7 for as long as your business is running, okay? Because once traffic dies down and you no longer have new eyeballs on your business, that's when your business essentially dies, because there's no new life force that's being pumped into the business or being injected, and you're just relying on old clients and referrals, and eventually that dries out. So you do need a marketing system that's, especially ads, that's bringing in new clients on a daily basis, okay? And so the number that you need to know is your cost per lead. So when you're running ads, you need to know, okay, how much does it cost for you to acquire a lead? In the example that we just gave, it was $7, okay? And so you need to know this number on a regular basis, because the next thing that you need to know is your sales process. The number that you need to know is your conversion rate. That basically means what is the percentage of people that you're converting into a paying client or a booking from leads. So let's say, for example, if you have 10 leads that come in from ads or even a word of mouth organic, and you're able to close one of them into a booked appointment. So if you close 1 out of 10, that means your conversion rate is 10%, okay? So in the example that I gave earlier, it was 15%. So that basically means, for simple math here, for every 7 leads that you would get, you would close 1, okay? So you need to know, so those are the 2 numbers that you need to know. And then you need to have a good branding and social media system as well. And don't overcomplicate this, okay? This essentially means you just need to be posting consistently. You need to make sure that you're taking content and social proof before and afters and stuff regarding your clients for every single client that does walk through your doors. That's really it. And just making sure that you don't forget to get a positive 5-star review for every single client that also walks through your doors, okay? That's really it. I truly believe that trying to create content just with the goal to go viral and get a bunch of engagement and likes, that's not really going to help your business. At the end of the day, you want to appeal to other people who would be interested in your services, not other beauty pros, not other PMU artists. And so a lot of times when you're creating content to be funny and to go viral, you're really connecting with other business owners who, aren't going to necessarily be your long-term clients. And so just keep that in mind, creating content that talks to your specific clientele versus other people and colleagues and business owners and other beauty pros just for the sake of being funny and getting a lot of engagements, right? I would rather have a post get 40 likes, but from that got me 5 clients, than a post that went viral that got me 500,000 views and nobody converted it into a client. Okay, so you want to have that. Eventually you want to build out like your business system. So this would be things like your pre-care and your aftercare, your appointment confirmations and reminders, reminding people to come back in for their touch-ups, right? Getting people to come back in for another service, or even reminding people to give you a 5-star review. And so you want to, for systems, what I mean here are automations. And with most booking systems, that's going to help you do it, whether it's from confirmations to reminders, texts, emails, post-appointment confirmations and reminders, pre-care, aftercare, reminding them to send you some pictures so you can take a look, 5-star reviews, all of the automations to help you save time. So, reducing admin work here. And so just to kind of drive the point home with numbers. So again, know your numbers. And I just want to paint out this picture one more time. So the same example that I gave earlier. So if I spent $1,000 on ads, right? And my cost per lead was $7. That means I got 142 leads, 1,000 divided by 7, okay? And if my conversion rate was 15%, so I would just say that's 1 out of 7. So 142 divided by 7, that would be 20 clients, okay? So you spent $1,000 to get 20 clients who in turn paid you $500 each, which becomes $10,000. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I would build my business from ground zero to go from 0 to 10K in 90 days or less. And I guarantee you that if you follow this specific formula, this would happen. Now, this is a big bonus, okay? I'm gonna make this in a different color. So let's do 8. Let's do a big bonus. What if I told you that you can turn your monthly revenue from 10K to potentially 20K, so you're doubling it without spending any additional money on marketing? That is a huge claim, right? One of the most powerful strategies that we've ever developed for our clients was something called the credit strategy. And this, the premise for this is that your most loyal customers will be your biggest source of revenue. And if somebody has had such a world-class experience with you, wouldn't they want to come back for something else? Or why wouldn't they want to come back for something else? Like if you are offering multiple services right now, how often have you had a super fan or a super client saying like, I love my brows, like do you offer anything else or can I get anything else done by you? We know that getting somebody to come back in to pay you more money is one of the most profitable things that you can do when it comes to an existing client. But how often are we consistent with that process? And so once we realize that, we're like, okay, well, let's do a credit strategy. Somebody comes in for $500 brows, and most people, they look at their business as like a one and done model. They come for the brows and like, that's it. But if you offer lips, liner, paramedical, scar stretch mark, SMP, why not give them a reason to come back? And so for every person that comes in and get the brows done, what you want to do is give them a $100 gift card in the form of like a credit. And you simply say, this is a $100 gift card that you can use on any of our other services. And you have to book the next appointment within 14 days of this first initial service. So let's rewind a little bit, okay? Let's kind of paint this picture a little bit broader. If somebody came in, they got their brows done by you, they absolutely loved it, they gave you a 5-star review, they're raving about it, you took a bunch of pictures, they were crying, oh my God, Lisa, you changed my life, this is amazing, I've been wanting this for 2 years. Why wouldn't they want to come back to get something else done by you? So you can simply say, hey, Lisa, I hope you enjoy your brows. For all of our exclusive clients, here's a $100 gift card. This is a credit towards any of our other services. So if you're open to discussing how we can help you with your lips or your liner or your scars and stretch marks, here's a gift card. You just have to use it within 7 days of this initial session. But let's get you in for a consultation. I'd love to chat about how we can help you with that too. Okay. So now, instead of just making $500 for brows, you're making $500 for brows, and also $400 for lips. So now you just made $900. And you didn't spend any additional money on marketing. This is the same client who normally would have just paid you $500, but since you implemented the credit strategy, now they're paying you $900. Now imagine you did this with every single client that walked through your doors. How much money you make, additional money you make. And so that is how a lot of our clients are doubling and even tripling their revenue sometimes just by leveraging their current and existing clients by upselling another service and not having to spend any additional money on marketing, okay? So I hope that bonus was helpful. This is like one of the most fire things that we like to utilize. And again, this is just such a powerful strategy. So that was the step-by-step process that I would take if I was a PMU artist starting from ground zero and I wanted to take my business to $10,000 per month in less than 90 days, step by step. And this is the exact formula that we have implemented for all of our clients. So it's a proven process and we've done this again and again. And so if you are somewhere stuck in that process, whether you're just starting out or you're still in that $2,000 to $3,000 per month range or even $5K per month, and you can't seem to break the ceiling, you're probably missing one of these components here. And you might need to go back, whether it's doing a model call again, or maybe decreasing our prices a little bit, or focusing on your branding and your social proof, or maybe it's just running ads and getting the business systems, right? Or maybe you're already making 10K and you want to double that and you need to implement the credit strategy. So I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We have new videos dropping weekly just like this. And for those of you who are looking to dive deeper and you want all of our trainings and resources and strategies handed to you on a silver platter, we're going to attach the link to our BD Success System, which we'll put in the description below. And for those of you who want to work one-on-one with us so that we can actually build everything for you and it's completely hands-off, I also want to invite you to book a consultation call with us. We'll put the link in the bio as well. With that said, we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. More videos coming soon. Appreciate you, and see you next time.